Welcome, everyone. This is Our Souls Speak. We're in constellation in divine space. We convene with our souls to listen, share, and explore. Our Souls Speak, a podcast where, together with our guests, we embody the soulful principles of oneness and sourceness. Welcome to this episode of Our Souls Speak. It's my honor to introduce everyone to our guest today, Jeska Onderwater. Jeska is a singer and song weaver, receiving and transmitting messages of her soul through her music. She loves to facilitate creative healing spaces in which our connection to nature and each other one is central. In her circles, concerts, and ceremonies and retreats, Jeska weaves elemental wisdom with creativity, using sound, song, voicing, yoga, and dance as ways to connect with your heart and soul. Jeska, it's such an honor to have you here on our podcast with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so your topic today is the art of being a song carrier. And I just want to start off with just asking, when did you realize that you had a voice, that you had a song to carry?
I think consciously that started when I received my first guitar. So I was 15 years old then. I was already singing and part of choirs, and as a child I already loved to perform and to read stories and to sing songs. But it was really when I received my first guitar and had an instrument, right, to start writing songs with. Because I do remember that even before that I sometimes received like lyrics, and I woke up sometimes and I had a dream and there was a whole song in my mind, and so I would write that down, but I didn't really have an instrument to play it with or to sort of remember what it was. So when I received my first guitar, and it was also 15-year-old, it's like this period when you are falling in love seriously for the first time, and so I had a lot of feelings and a lot of experiences that I didn't really know how to give expression to. Just through music, there was this path of giving that a voice. So it was a lot for myself in my room with my guitar, playing, and then songs were coming through, mostly love songs. But they were helping me very much. It calmed me down. It helped me to sort of, to balance myself and to give these feelings a place. Mm-hmm.
And over time, your music transformed into love mantras, right?
Yeah, I think there's all sorts of songs. Like some indeed are more mantra-like, where they are really repetitive and really there to sort of bring you deeper into your heart and into that meditative state. Other songs are more like storytelling songs, and there's a lot of songs also that are about past life memories, which somehow that's part of my life path that I remember a lot from my past lives to sort of transmute that in this life. And the songs or the music is like one of the most powerful ways for me to like do that. Actually, it's sort of usually after that song is then written about that memory, it sort of shifts and it becomes a collective help for anyone who recognizes this theme that it's done about. So, and then there's still love songs also coming, and a lot of songs for my love for the earth and for this life and all the complexities of it. But this soul essence, right, of the blessings that we are given in this human life, by the elements like you introduced, and nature. So I would say there's a whole variety of themes and types of songs that come through.
I'm interested in how you receive, all artists, I think, and channelers, so to speak, or we're in a channel, right? We receive. I'm just curious how you what it's like for you.
Yeah, so for me, and sometimes I get this question from people who are curious, and then I always find it very funny when I realize that it all comes kind of in one go. So it's really like I have to sort of like usually it comes in a way that I'm just playing guitar and I have some chords or I'm playing another song and then I'm just trying some things and then I realize, it's like the cloud or the channel is open, right? And I can feel that something is coming through, but then I really have to like, yeah, I have to stick with it to really like receive what it is and write it down or make a recording on my phone. Because my experience is really that then it's sort of like I'm playing the chords, then there comes melody, then there comes lyrics. I write it all down or I record it. And there's this time frame. There's like really that time frame that this sort of channel is open, and if I just would play and I wouldn't write it down or record it, it's also gone. Again, often that's the case, at least. Then it's just, and sometimes it's like that. Sometimes a song comes just for the moment and it's like just for me. And I usually also feel the difference between something that is just there for me or something that, yeah, is really wants to be shared at a later point with others as well. So it's very much there's a book by Elizabeth Gilbert, maybe you some of you will probably know, Big Magic, and she writes about the creative process and I really resonated with a part, I think, where she writes really about this, yeah, these sort of like clouds of inspiration that we can plug into, and that even different people individually of each other have created similar things, or even had similar ideas, and some has really, gone through with the idea and then written the book or written the song, and the other was like, hey, I had that exact same idea, and they don't know each other, right? So it's almost, sometimes I feel it's like, yeah, these muses or these inspirations are out there, and it's kind of okay when we are connected or when they open up to us, then we also really have to bring them in. Otherwise, they just float away and they find another person to work with. Sometimes it feels like that also. Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about how you connect with the elements and how they influence you in your work?
Yeah, I really need to go in nature and be still, especially because I use my voice so much. So there's always these periods where there's periods of expression and then there's periods of really more inwardness. And then I go to the elements, so I go to the trees, I lie on the earth, I sit with the waters and I listen. Like it's a lot about listening for me, but more to the silence or to the very subtle movements. And also I feel it's, yeah, now that I'm speaking, it's kind of it's listening through the heart. It's not so much to the mind. It's not like, you know, it's not like sometimes clear messages that I receive, but it's more feelings that, yeah, that then go through me. And I mean, for me, being in nature, and we are nature, of course. I don't like to make that distinction, but just to clarify, it's really, it's just really, really healing, and it sort of just brings me back in tune with my essence. And I think also for my creative work, whether it's the songwriting or other creative practices, it's just sort of the lifeblood that feeds them, and it's where, yeah, where I sense I'm alive and I'm connected to everything, and yeah, and each element has a different way, I feel, of connecting with them. But it's a lot about listening, yeah. And I'm sure everyone recognizes that, so when you make a fire and it speaks, like when you get really silent, that the fire speaks, and even the wind, like I really feel it carries messages, it carries information, and but it's a very subtle awareness that I need to drop into and really drop out of my mind into my heart, into my body to receive it. Um, and recently, there's also been more and more like animals speaking to me, which is quite new to me. Like even little insects, and it's really special. I noticed that they're always there available for us, but it's really, I need to really come into that stillness. And then I realize, wow, this bumblebee here is like, is having a message for me. And it's often very wise and it's simple, but it's really like something that yeah, that nourishes me then in that moment. And yeah, I feel there's so many layers to that, and I would love to work more and more with it, and also incorporate that in everything I do because, yeah, life is always speaking to us.
So true. In our conversation before, um, you were mentioning how, especially your connection with the water and whales and dolphins was really touching your soul right now. Can you share a little bit about that
Mhm.
experience with us?
Yeah. I would say in this life, it's still relatively recent. That last year, for the first time, I swam with dolphins in the Red Sea in Egypt. There's this very special reef there where there's one pod of around 200 dolphins, and they really come to connect with the humans. They're also used to it, but it's like, yeah, we were then on a boat for 1 week, and yeah, it was a very like it was a retreat really about this consciousness of how to connect with them. So it was also really about letting them come to us, and then we would go into the water. And sometimes it was for the whole group, sometimes it was also just me and one other person, so I could really feel the dolphins are very much in tune, and they are so aware of who they need to communicate what to. And again, it's more a matter of frequency, right, than of actual, messages or theory. Like they are on such another consciousness already, and it really affects our consciousness positively. I feel like they are so wise, and of course they communicate through the sonar, right? And it's just so beautiful because when you're underwater with them, you hear them, you really hear them. And I actually was singing with them, which like it was not so easy because of course I have like uh, the snorkel in, and but I really had a few moments where I really felt that they want to sing with me and they want to communicate with me through the sound. And there was so much joy there. I mean, dolphins are just joy. They are joy and love making. They're just making love in front of your eyes. Like they are just like all this like enjoyment of life and beauty and magic. And it's just very special to notice how intelligent they are and what it activates in me and in us. Like I noticed with the group that we were, there was a whole transformation. Of course, you come into a completely different space being with them for a week multiple times a day. It's like it's a whole another universe. And it just showed me that there's so much more going on. And I knew that already, but still, like when you really experience that, right, then we perceive sometimes, and that they are doing a lot for the whole earth grid. I feel that's at least the experience I had, that both the whales and the dolphins, they're sort of harmonizing through the oceans, through the waters, this earth grid. And I feel that they're holding it together. Like if we wouldn't have them, I don't know how we could still be here. It's kind of like they're doing so much work for humanity, but they also need us to connect with them so that we can help them and they can help us. And so this is part of my life path that I really feel it's opening more right now. And I knew for years that this was part of my life path, but it was kind of okay, when is this going to open or how? And so that first meeting last year really opened a lot, that I just feel now, yeah, there's more music wanting to come in co-creation with them, and there's a deep calling to be closer with them and yeah, have more time. And especially now also with the whales, because they have that's another layer of deep, deep wisdom and another energy, um, as the dolphins. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I want to open this up to the group right now and kind of expand more about your experience with the frequency and how and your knowledge that we are connected to them and they are helping us and just kind of open our conversation to that realm of song.
Well, thank you, Jeska, for sharing all of that. Because really feel the energy of the dolphins and the whales are very present right now. Would you say that dolphins and whales already are song carriers?
For sure. I feel they are the original song carriers of the earth. And also, this is what I remembered. One of the past life themes is also, yeah, in Atlantis and other ancient civilizations, that that we were already in this close connection with them, and we were communicating more through frequency than through actually spoken word, right? So it's almost like they still carry that, and we have to remember that this is also our capacities, right? So
I feel I have connected with dolphins and whales in a in the higher consciousness spaces, and when they communicate, it's completely different, of course, and it's clicks and sounds. How might we begin that connection with them through sound, even if we're not in a boat surrounded by them?
I think, as you said, like what is really powerful is even to just listen to recordings of the sounds they make. That I was doing that already, and you could meditate or just lie down. I think the sounds really hold a key to what it can open inside of us, and it can open that connection. Um, yeah, and also, yeah, I mean, sounds like I have actually have an amazing friend, a sound healer. She's able to make sounds on her gong. She has this amazing gong, but I know there's more sound healers who can do that. And it's like you hear the wheels. And so through sessions with her, also, I connected so deeply with the wheels because she could make those sounds. So it is even possible to make them live, And of course,
Mm.
you need to find someone who knows how to do that, but or who can transmit that energy also. But yeah, I feel the sound again. The sound is the key.
Wondered if you could sort of talk about when did you realize about the listening part, that the listening was so crucial, so essential, not only to song carrying, but also to just your well-being?
Thank you for that question. I really feel actually it came a lot through the reflections I got from being in nature.
Mm.
So, for example, and I have a friend who once told me this also, who loves to go out in the wild. He said, when I'm very busy in my mind and I'm just, I'm not very present or not yet, like I usually don't meet any animals, he said, because they can feel me from miles away. When I'm in tune, when I'm calm and I have that center space of stillness and I'm in peace with myself, then I can be still and listen. I'm actually open to listen. So then also I see the deer and I notice, maybe even they are there, but I don't notice, right? I notice the bumblebee and I notice the sounds they make. So I feel that is something that really was just a direct reflection of, hey, and of course it's all about how we see, right? So it's like it's kind of interesting, like what we see is how what we can see, because it's a reflection of our inner state. um and then I just noticed that, of course, if I'm in that state of peace and calm, or at least in a balance with myself, that I can receive much more, and it's much more enjoyable also. And so, yeah. Yeah, and for example, what I touched upon before, like really receiving like a communication from the bee or also the grasshopper, they're very present for me. It came because I was really in a very still state, and I was already walking for at least half an hour through the forest, like letting all my thoughts just settle down a bit, and and really taking the time and making the space. And I think that's something just in our culture, that it's so important that we are reminded of that too, because there's always, even if we are aware that it's good for us to slow down and take space, there's always, I have that too, that guilt or that feeling like the productivity and the thousand things to do. And I feel, as a sensitive being, as a creator that we all are, right? But like, yeah, the more you become aware of that, the more it's important to really create space for listening. And in essence, I guess it's listening to ourselves, it's listening to our our soul speaking through us, and all these beings are reflections, and the trees and all creations of nature just reflections to remind us of that, or to bring us deeper into connection with our soul. But yeah, that aspect of creating space and learning how to still the mind, I think it's, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely resonates completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm one. Sorry, but one last thing that just popped in is trees. So whenever I'm out and about, trees talk to me. Lots of things do, but trees seem to have so much wisdom and so much to share, and so much connectedness. And I just wondered if you had any tree experiences you might like to share.
Yeah. Well, I have several trees where I still live, and we're gonna move soon. So I'm actually I'm a bit sad because I have to say
Oh,
goodbye to these trees. They are my so-called sitting spots. So they really called me, and there's like two or three of them. One is has a little source running from under it, so I love to sit there. And I wouldn't say I have any like extraordinary experience with the tree, but that's the whole thing. I think they are all about simplicity. And well, in a way they are extraordinary because I know that when I feel ungrounded or I'm very busy in my mind or there's a lot of emotions or whatever is moving, if I just go and sit with the tree for a bit without distractions, without taking my phone, really just sitting with the tree and breathing, the tree regulates me completely. And so, like you said, they're so wise and they know how to be patient. Like, they grow their roots deeply, they stay in one place, and at the same time they can move with the wind, right? But they stay grounded. They have so deeply that earth quality that is so needed in our world also, right? Because we are so yeah, there's so much movement and so much impressions in our modern world. So yeah. And I feel every tree has their own story to tell, their own wisdom. And of course, the older they are, the more you feel their energy. Like, yeah, really.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
That's lovely to hear you speak. I was in the woods this morning, had a fairly unambiguous go to the woods message, and saw the back of a deer just flash through the trees, and just how that feels, the privilege of those glimpses. And my daughter and I have a conversation, she's going to be 6, about when the wind blows through the trees, we smile and say that the trees are talking to each other. And I guess talking to everything. And what I was wondering about, I had a hearing test years ago, and I quickly figured out that they made a noise on every 5 seconds. And so even when I stopped hearing, I just kept counting the 5 seconds. And at the end, they told me I had off the scale hearing, which wasn't true at all. And I was wondering about saying more about cultivating these subtle senses around what sounds exist, but we can't necessarily hear them, and even what we see, what colors that exist, but we don't see them, and what guidance you can give to us and people listening in developing those senses, further developing those senses.
Yeah, I love that. It really, I never really described myself like that, but I do think that for a part, I'm sort of clairaudient, that I can hear. I'm not so much visual, but I hear. I don't know really how I got to have that. But I think what we just touched upon before with that stillness, it's a big part of it. Really making space and stilling the mind and stilling and coming into the heart. Because again, I feel like I hear it through the heart. It's because again, I don't hear a voice, right? It's just I receive a feeling, an energy, and sometimes really a message. But some practical things that could help for me is also writing and like just free writing sometimes, to really bring through whatever's being sort of channeled. That can help a lot to sort of give an anchor to what we hear. Because I think, again, the mind can come in a lot and just say, oh, whatever, am I really hearing that? I don't know. Like, we can doubt ourselves. So writing can really help. Do some free writing and just let it come and then see if there's something that resonates, right? Um, yeah. And again, just the practice of going out and opening yourself to receive and to see if something would come. And there's so many modalities, and I think like through which we can listen, right? There's so many ways. Like some people like to paint, others like to write. You can sing, you can meditate, I don't know, you can dance. For me, there's so many ways through which also that channel can open more. Like, for example, when I dance and I'm really deep in my body, I feel also much more open to actually hear what could be transmitted to me, or yeah. So yeah, in that sense, I would say, like, find what you enjoy and then see what you receive.
Thank you. The other connection I felt earlier was this, and I only became aware of it, you spoke to it, that around receiving what's uniquely for us, for me, for you, that feels that is what it is. What's being received to share maybe in a smaller group with someone specifically, and what's here to share just everywhere with everybody, and any sense around how that discernment lets itself be known.
Yeah. I think that often I have that also with songs, because they feel like when they come, it's like a song baby, and it's my baby, and it's like I feel I need to keep it very close to myself, and sometimes it's a time frame, like it's really like the baby needs to grow and it's just for me until it's ready to be shared, and sometimes it's just really private and it's something that's I think there's also, and that is sometimes hard, but to really start to feel like, what is my fear of sharing, and what is my discernment of, no, this needs to be protected because it's something that's just special for me and it doesn't need to be shared, it doesn't need to be, or not in that way, at least, like, because I also feel in a way it's amazing we have this culture of sharing now with social media and YouTube, right? There's so many ways we can share our messages in the world and our art. And at the same time, I sometimes feel, oh, there's also really that sacredness to feeling when something is ripe. Like, when is it ripe to share? And maybe it's never, or it's just for your journal, right? Or it's just for your heart. Like, and I think, yeah, that's really just feeling. I don't know exactly how we can, but I think you can feel it when you've pushed it. And it's not like, oh, because then you start to feel, okay, no, this is actually, I need to take it back, right? And it's okay. Like, we just learn also through trying it out. But it's really a process for me as well to, for example, if my partner sometimes said, "Oh, did you write a new song? I heard you play," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's not for you yet," And then I'm even like, I just, also it's easier for me to write or to express when I'm just alone, and it's really in that bubble. And then at some point, I see if it's like meant for the wild world as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it.
thank you so much. That was really practical and relevant. So thank you.
Jeska, thank you so much for sharing what you've been sharing. And just speaking back to experience, I remember probably about 10 years ago, I was in a group and we were chanting the word Om. And we were doing it, the session was just to do that 108 times. And I remember probably 20 minutes in, I could hear angels. I could hear the angelic realm. And it was for a good 15 minutes, while the Om was reverberating. And there's been, I'm seeing some things on the internet about humming and how it affects the vagus nerve and it calms the nervous system. So the group of people after that time must have got into that coherence of being in a calm, their autonomic nervous system being calm. And basically, it definitely happened to me, which is why I feel that I could hear angels, and I'll never forget that experience. It hasn't happened again, but it was unforgettable. So just speaking to Barry's question about experience as well, and like yourself, I hear more things than with as a sense. I'm very attuned to that sense of hearing.
I love the distinction you made regarding sharing, whether it was forced or not. That was your discernment. Yeah. When we want to share, it comes from I think a sense of ease. And does that resonate with what you were sharing before?
Yeah, yeah, and it can still be a bit scary, because sometimes, I
Right.
mean, I sing so much for people, but I'm still a bit like, oh, if I have a new song or even just a little video of me singing, I always feel a bit like, but it's the difference between just feeling a bit like, okay, nervous, or feeling like I overstepped the boundary of something that was just needed to stay still in a sacred space and not shared. So yeah, it's very delicate, but I think with practice we feel more and more the difference. Yeah, thank you, Dilraj, for what you just shared, because that is just magical, and it's also my experience that, of course, when we tune our system through humming, through sound, yeah, we really change our consciousness with that, or we open to other layers. And I just recently had this experience as well where I was humming. There's this exercise, it's from yoga, but you close your ears and you put your hands, then you just hum like the bees. And if you do that for a while afterwards, I always have that there, but now I had it just recently that there's a silence, and it's like, I mean, that silence is always there, but you can actually hear it. And then a lot of sounds started to come in that were not from this realm. And I don't know if it was angels, but it was really like, wow, there's messages being communicated to me now through such a simple practice as humming. And this is also what you shared, Lorna, with why the bees. Like, it's another animal that I feel is so magical and important when it comes to sounding and what they are doing for our earth and for our vibrational fields. So yeah, it's magical.
Jeska, just wanted to ask you, can you speak to any of the frequencies or that come through? Meaning, is there any, so you've mentioned about feelings, and is there any frequencies or tones in sound that relate, that you maybe intentionally try to create to emit a particular song or theme?
I would say that this so far it's not been really intentional. It's just been sort of what came through. But what is interesting, like I shared before, is that there's kind of different types of songs. And so I almost feel, and it's not to make a hierarchy of them, but they come from different energetic frequencies. I feel like songs that I write about past lives and, that are about transmutation are very different from, like a mantra that is really meant to help you come into your heart and just like fully come into this state of peace and bliss or an openness. So in that sense, I feel like with these clouds, like there's different sort of types of energies that I can plug into, and again, depending on where I am and what's happening in my life and how I feel, these different kinds of songs come through, and so I do feel it is important to, it's like an art of understanding that everything is like working. There's not, my whole environment, my whole system is sort of like influencing whatever is able to come through. And I mean, there's so many layers to this, but I think it's in general an invitation to us as humanity, right, to become so much more aware of really where we focus our energy and what we ingest, what is the input, and sort of so also understand what is then our output, because the more qualitative our inputs, the more healing and balanced also our output can be. So this is something I would just want to experiment with still in the coming times, especially also in relation with dolphins and whales and being closer to them physically, by the oceans where they are.
It's interesting that you speak about, how we balance from what I cognitize was balancing our internal to then emit externally. And there's even with sound and song and music, there's some religions that forbid music, And music is very powerful. As far as I know, in Indian music, there's something called ragas, which are like scales. And some of the ragas they have very specific meanings and purposes and intentions. Some of the ragas invoke rain, for example. There's set of notes that are in a particular order, and they have an intent purpose. So, what would you say to mainstream music at the moment, and the message is that it's portraying? What would you say to it, just generally?
Yeah, no, it's funny because I had a thought about that recently when I just heard the radio again, like a mainstream radio, and I was like, most of the mainstream songs are just about very unhealthy themes, actually. Like, it's all about also this, and also Hollywood movies, right? It's all about these love stories where it's actually not balanced at all. Like, it's not about loving yourself first. There's a lot of like despair and also this whole idea that only when you're with the one you can be happy. And in music you hear that as well. And I don't know, there's a lot of songs, of course, also that completely like they're just objectifying us as humans and our sexuality, which is sacred, a lot of songs like that. So yeah, I would say, and of course more, that's beautiful. I think there's more and more mainstream artists also coming with like songs that have a higher frequency or messages that have a higher frequency, because generally the consciousness is rising, right? So we can sense that things are changing. But yeah, generally I feel, yeah, like when I hear these songs, and even sometimes I like the songs because I know them or they have a nice melody, but when I then feel how I feel afterwards, it's like, wow, this is some of these frequencies more than the songs are just meant to sort of, I feel they meant to keep us in a lower vibration. And that's why I feel so important to create music with other frequencies. And luckily that, that music is sort of growing now, that genre, and more people are discovering it and listening to it. Yeah. Again, I think songs that are created from a different frequency can be innocent, but it really depends on what is being spoken about and the intention as well. And sometimes it's very unconscious even, right? What is being put in there. And and especially if very young people listen to that, I really feel, like you said, it's powerful. It can really influence people's feeling states. So yeah, like with anything, to be conscious of what we ingest, what we listen to. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I'm just called to ask if you would like to offer or share any advice about being a song carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Or to other song carriers.
Yeah, really to trust what is coming through you, and also to trust the calling to share, because that has been a big process for me. But what I really find is that through sharing my songs, I've really started to see that there is a medicine that I'm here to bring. Just like, whether it's song or any form of artistic expression or any form of expression, really, like we all have our medicine to bring. And I think this is really important to realize that, some things, even though they are healing for us, we don't receive them only for us. So there's almost like a sacred responsibility of taking the leap and, going past that insecurity or that fear and sharing. And that has been a really huge process for me, but it has been so rewarding. And still, every time I get a message of someone resonating deeply with a song, there's even children being born to my songs. Like, it's hard to imagine, but it's like, wow, like that is just what it's all about, that these songs, these frequencies can travel, and those who resonate with them or who feel helped by them have also access to them. And yeah, trusting that if something's coming through, it's meant to. Yeah, because I think we doubt ourselves so often, and of course that's very human. But yeah, to really believe in ourselves, or at least even if it's hard sometimes, like at least in that little part, and just like take little steps to share, because yeah, we are really here to help each other with our artistic medicine. Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's not been an easy road for me, because there has been a lot. Yeah, I didn't grow up in a musician's family or something. Like, it's not like there was a lot of people around me who knew about this different kind of path. And also, I didn't go into mainstream music. It also never felt right to, find a label and all of this. Maybe it will come still for something that resonates, but I've always just walked my own path. I think that's also really important, to really walk it in the way that feels right to you, even if it's pioneering and there's no one who's done that really before you, or it's sort of more unknown, but through that, at least you can really create a way of sharing that is true to yourself. And this has always been very important to me, that I can never sell my soul, to anything that doesn't resonate, because then that misses the whole point of what I'm here to share. And sometimes it's easy, and sometimes also I wonder, oh, maybe it's more difficult because I do everything myself. But I have to trust, again, trusting in how, why I'm here, and what way feels good for me to share. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's lovely. The way you speak about confidence and about trust. Those are definitely two things to cultivate.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly resonates for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cultivating, and it's very interesting what you say about the medicine part of it, because I hadn't honestly thought of it as medicine. And what is medicine really? Medicine is healing, in simplistically. Yeah, it's healing soul, body, spirit. Yeah. So so something shifted in terms of coming through the channel. We're all familiar with the channel, the one channel, and that the information that comes through there is also, there's so much that comes through, right? There's so much that comes through the channel, and yet, I hadn't thought of it as medicine. It never occurred to me that there was sound medicine, that there was this vibrational medicine, this color medicine. There's all sorts of things that are have that medicinal quality. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. It's also nice to be reminded of that, because I say it a lot, music is medicine, art is medicine, and that also the way you express it now, it's like we are the medicine. Like our souls know exactly what is needed here. So can we get out of the way, our sort of small persona that doubts and all of that, and it's also welcome, but can we get out of the way to let the medicine come through and trust it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then radiate it at the soul, as the soul. That's the words I would use, or the monad. And so I felt there was a very strong tsunami tsunami of healing medicine, song medicine. Yeah, it's lovely visual too on that one. So thank you.
Been incredibly moving, feeling the immense power of your gentleness. You modeling, representing something that feels, for me, it just yeah, tricky and elusive and not always present. So thank you so much.
Thank you. That's also really medicine for me to hear. Thank you. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And from the space, Jeska, I wonder if you would share a little song. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but maybe just tones, whatever it feels.
Yeah, I can just sing.
Yeah.
There's a little song that I wrote recently. It kind of ties in with this theme of gentleness because it's for Mother Mary, for the energy of the Divine Mother and love. Yeah, I'll just sing it. I feel to sing it. Mhm. Ave Rosa Preciosa, Ave Maria, Mariposa, Madre de Rosa, Ave Sophia. No more seeking, I'm receiving your divine grace. No more seeking, I'm receiving your divine grace. Oh, Ave Rosa Preciosa, Ave Maria, Mariposa, Madre de Rosa, Ave Sophia. No more seeking, I'm receiving your divine grace. No more seeking, I'm receiving your divine grace.
Thank you so much.
You.
Thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you so much for joining this constellation and also joining us at Radical Radiance. When you were talking about supporting others and realizing their medicine, I think that's one of the intentions of our event. And I just wanted to open this conversation to what you're sensing right now. And I just look forward to people being able to receive your beautiful gifts in ceremony and in teaching, connecting to the water, and all those different elements that we're going to help people sense more deeply into to receive their guidance to be their medicine in this world.
Yeah, I'm really honored to be invited, and I'm so looking forward. Like, it already feels very powerful what you shared with me earlier about the pillars of the event, and yeah, Mhm.
Yeah, we look forward to inviting everyone to. Yeah, I'm going to cut there. Anybody else have something to share about the radical radiance with?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we're delighted that you are going to be part of Radical Radiance. Really excited about your joining the constellation for the 3-day event. And we feel that there's a really important healing aspect as well to our work over the 3 days with the earth, with the land. And knowing that you work very closely with nature and ceremonies, wondered if you had a sense at all, even now, of how that work, that healing, that interaction how might it be?
Well, now that you're sharing this, I really get this image and feeling that we will open up a portal in these days. And I mean, this is also my experience with many. I mean, any place could be a portal, really, but many places in the land, of course, they already carry specific energy. But then when we come together and really give offerings and we sing and we open our hearts and come into this vibration, this frequency together, I feel this is also, again, like just with the dolphins and whales, they help us, but they also they help us, but we help them as well. That's what I mean. Like, we have so much power. And this is the feeling I'm having for this event, that if you're talking about the earth, that there's something that wants to happen in this specific place, and that through our shared creation, this can open, and we are supporting the elemental beings and the specific beings and energies in this specific place to open that portal and to open this energy so that things can flow and more creation can be happening. So I mean, I'm just very excited because that is what I love to do most. Yeah, to be part places where we really co-create with the land. Mm-hmm.
Would you say? Hang on, back up. We have been tuning into the land and the energy of the event for some time, and of course it's multidimensional and multifaceted energy. I feel in the moment with this conversation we've had today, but also in this now, it feels like excitement is one of the very big energies, and also at the back of that, I feel it's about celebration. And I just wondered if there's anything else that you were feeling in this now about the energy of the event or the place that you'd like to share.
Well, I think also the title you picked, Radical Radiance, I mean, I just see people shining. And I see us singing and dancing and being in really beautiful connection with each other from the heart, from the soul. And I mean, Greg shared that with me in our first conversation, that this is a seed planted, right? So I just see that from this first event, a lot of magic is going to unfold between the people that are called to be there. And yeah, I definitely see the celebration, and yeah, that's why I think why there's so much excitement also, because it's like a pillar of light in which our radiance can shine through, and we get tools, or we are in this space where it's mirrored back to us, right? Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I got that picture. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jessica. This has been so wonderful, and just what you shared right now was
Magic.
Thank you very much, and look forward to connecting with you soon, and just we'll move forward and see where this all how it all unfolds. And it's just such an honor to have you with us. So, thanks.
Yeah, it is an honor. Thank you so much. Practical 3D, it'll be a couple of weeks before, well, it won't be that many weeks, maybe 3 weeks before I get to edit this video. And I'll be in touch by email again when it's ready, when it's loaded and all of that sort of stuff.
Perfect. All in divine timing. I trust.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Thank you so much. It's been so lovely to meet everyone. Like, I really
We lost Barry, but he's in the woods. So
no, Barry apologizes because his phone battery died, so that's why.
Okay. Thank you, Barry. Also, yeah, and really, wow.
I keep reminding him to charge it when he sleeps, but yeah, this has been lovely, and thank you so much, and
I'm so very grateful to you.
very grateful. So have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll be in touch.
Yes, thank you so much for this soul conversation.
It was beautiful. Thank you for singing on without any warning. It was beautiful, but I knew I needed to do that. So anyway,
yeah, thank you.
Thanks. All right.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Have a great afternoon.
Thanks. To receive more information about our guests and future events, please visit our website at OurSoulsSpeak.com. We are one.